So I pulled this card the other day and hello. Now that we got kisses from our puppy, we can continue. Here comes the second one. You guys are just so loving. Hi. Impression. When you think of someone, the image in your mind is your impression of that person based on past encounters. It is not the actual person. Let me read that again. Based on past encounters. It is not the actual person. Your mental image of a person is your impression of that person based on snapshots of past encounters. The conceptual mind comprehends a person via this mental image. The actual person, however, is not a static image. The actual person evolves dynamically with each new experience, second by second. So when you think of someone, remind yourself that you are thinking only of an impression of that person based on incomplete information. Then the appearance of a negative impression in the mind will not lead to negative comments about that person, which imply that the person is inherently that way. The way to accumulate positive karma is to wish for the person to grow free from the faults you perceive in your negative impression of them. Every time we have a negative thought about someone, it's a good opportunity to contemplate how someone, ourselves for example, can be free from such faults. This was something that I learned about perception, that our perception is what shapes the way we see the world, what shapes the way we see people, situations, things. It goes so much deeper than just thinking negatively or positively. But the way that this is explained, I love, because that's the thing is, if you're gonna hold on to an image of someone based on one interaction, and that's gonna shape the view of how you see them, you're missing out on seeing other sides of them. And I speak this from personal experience. I did this my whole life growing up until I started to be more self-aware, and then also realize that that's how also other people were. We all have the shadow and the light within us, and it doesn't make some of us good and others bad. It's just about, can we be there for the human? Can we realize that we're all going through shit? We've all been through some shit. So when you start to realize this, you're able to come from deeper compassion for yourself and for others. But this is such an important message, and that's why I felt called to share, especially when it comes to parent-child relationships, because I find that some of the most challenging moments that parents and children have is when the parents are holding on to a static image of their child and not able to meet their child and see them where they are in that moment and honor who they are and embrace that. And a lot of times, because also we can go into this culture of just blaming and shaming our parents, right? And that is just on the other side of the spectrum, doing the same thing. We're blaming them that is just basically doing the same thing, just from the other side. And we don't want to be doing that. But knowing that everyone is human, regardless of what your beliefs are, regardless of what sides you want to support for anything, be it religious, political, sports, whatever, it doesn't matter. Can you look across and look into the eyes of that human and recognize that you both have something that makes you the same, which is you are a human, and it doesn't matter what your skin color, it doesn't matter what your age is, none of that shit matters. And when we start to realize this, when we start to be more open and be more compassionate with one another and stop looking at all these labels as ways to separate each other, that's when we're gonna have deeper peace and support for one. Thanks for being here, and I hope this in some way supported you. Until next time, sending blessings. Sorry, I just couldn't stop and not show you how cute these little babies are. Hi, are you all snuggled, Benny?